Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, The Sunday Cook. This is what happened previously.
We were to take a little break, kind of pain. That was Wednesday, and then it progressed and it just got so bad that I couldn't actually move my arm. These shooting spasm of pain, starting from my shoulder, calcification or calcified tendonitis, and basically it's a buildup of calcium in and around the tendon in your rotator cuff. The rotator cuff is actually here, so it will be all about how to cook when you can only use one arm. So this should be another adventure.
So now that I'm armed with medication and a diagnosis, I went on, after a couple of days of not doing any cooking
With this thing
to create this.
has actually not been too bad. Managed to make a cauliflower cheese, which is gonna go in the oven.
Which was my first attempt. So tonight I decided to cook a proper meal and post it on YouTube. So here's my chorizo and fennel paella, the quick version. So I start with the ingredients, which include fennel, obviously, a red onion, then I've got 3 cloves of garlic from that one garlic bulb, and then some organic cooking chorizo, this is the mild soft one, and a box full of herbs, so I'm just going to be using the thyme there. And then of course a paella rice. So, you'll have to excuse me, I'm battling a cold at the same time, which is great fun. So yeah, I've been trying to cook with just my left arm, and for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a right-handed person, so I've been discovering what it's like to, try and be ambidextrous, or at least try and use my left hand. So it just meant I had to be a little bit more creative and a little bit more resourceful. So I start off by roughly chopping my fennel. So I've taken off the outer leaves that were a little bit bruised, and then and for this recipe, I must clarify, it's actually really simple. You don't need to be very precise with your chopping skills. So as long as you can cut them roughly in the same sort of size. So that's what I did with the fennel, and I'm about to attempt slicing and peeling a red onion with just one hand. Not the easiest task, I have to say. It took a little bit of trial and error, but in the end I found a way where I just stabbed the onion with the point and then tried to detach it. And then where I had made the initial incision, I just put the wider end of the blade right through, cut through into half, and then I just went on to peel, which isn't very interesting, so I'm just fast forwarding that bit. And eventually we got there. I mean, all in all, it did take a little bit longer than usual. Usually, you can chop an onion in under 30 seconds. It's no big deal, but with just the one arm, it's a little bit harder. Yeah. So then I bashed my garlic to release the cloves, gave it a good punch, and so I'm using 3 cloves in this recipe. Don't forget that the chorizo actually has quite a lot of garlic and some other herbs, and most of the flavoring is going to come from the chorizo. So after peeling the skins off, and again I'm fast forwarding this bit, but just because it's not the most interesting. We all know how to peel a garlic clove. I went on to finally, as fine as I could finally chop my garlic. Eventually I got there, and it was time to bring the raw meat board. So, and then the next task was to get them out of their plastic. Yes, that was an interesting exercise. This is the shortened version, but I got there. So I'm just using 2. They're kind of medium size. I would imagine they're about 50 grams each, roughly. But you judge with what you want to eat in terms of portion control. So I just accounted 1 sausage per person. There's only 2 of us, so very easy. And I decided to swap knives because actually my chef's knife was not. It wasn't. Yeah, it didn't work. So I used a serrated knife instead, and that seemed to work a little bit better. So using my serrated knife, jiggling. I think one thing that I would do differently is next time put a wet tea towel underneath my board so it doesn't move. Anyways, I got all my veg and everything prepped. Time to get cooking. So in a large skillet, I've just put a drop of vegetable oil. I ran out of light olive oil, so I'm using vegetable oil here. But you don't really need much, so just because the chorizo actually has quite a high fat content, and that fat, because it's been mixed with a lot of herbs, a lot of spices like paprika, and then garlic, of course, it's good to flavor the rest of the dish. So you'll see that the pan starts to change color. You see that orangey, yellowy glow on the bottom of the pan, and that's all that flavor that's coming out of the chorizo. So I browned them thoroughly, turned them around. I gave them a little bit of a squash just because I didn't want them all uniform, and removed them and then added my fennel. So I'm adding my fennel, and then I'm adding my onion, and then finally my garlic. And then I'm going to sweat those a little bit, give them a little bit of color, give them a little bit of a toss. And what you don't see actually in this clip, I should have maybe kept it, but I tried tossing my pan with my left hand, and yeah, there were bits of fennel flying around the kitchen. It's all good fun. Then I'm adding my sage leaves. So I'm adding 2 sage leaves. I could have chopped them, and yeah, feel free to chop them, but I didn't have the patience. I was hungry, so I just went on and put them whole. And then I'm adding my paella rice. So there I'm adding about 150 grams of paella rice. Give it a good stir. Give it a good stir, and then I'm gonna add my liquid. Oh, sorry. No, first I'm gonna add my chorizo. Then I put my plate on into the pan so I can get every last bit of flavor. And then yeah, give it a good stir. So it's really easy. It's probably, I mean, you could probably do this with your eyes closed. Make sure you season well with lots of black pepper. And some sea salt. So I put sea salt in there, and then I placed a lid on top and allowed it to simmer gently for about 15 to 20 minutes. I checked halfway just to make sure that there's still some liquid in there, and actually because it creates a lot of steam and then the water evaporates, so it's a good thing to check. And you'll notice that it'll start to stick to the pan, so just add a drop of water, or you can use chicken stock or a vegetable stock, and then just give it a good stir until everything is nicely cooked. Make sure you taste for seasoning, so you know, always taste throughout your cooking, and then season as you go if it needs a little bit more. It's always easier to put more than to put less, than to take away the seasoning. And then just very lastly, I'm adding some frozen peas direct from the freezer. Give it a good stir so they defrost in the heat, and a few minutes later, maybe I would say a minute later, it's all ready to plate. Right. So, yeah, that was a really interesting exercise. I know I should have posted in the, some other videos of my attempts earlier in the week, but I had been in a lot of pain and on the painkillers, which makes me drowsy, and I didn't think I was going to be able to shoot, good quality stuff, and yeah, so I wanted to wait until it was a little bit better. But here you go, my chorizo and fennel. If you liked what you saw tonight, then don't forget to follow us. We're on Facebook and Instagram, but also don't forget to subscribe, because there'll be plenty of other dishes coming up, some made with my left hand, some made with both hands. Alright, see you soon, bye!